All right, baby. Welcome back to the Row. Another episode, Row 26. We're here. Looking at the Week 11 slate coming up. Both of our teams are completely out of it in shambles in different ways and different feelings, different thoughts about our teams. John, if you want to soapbox a little bit about the Cowboys for a second, you're welcome to. We're going to get into the weekend slate. We'll do a little bit of Hotz Corner. And then we'll do a little victory formation to finish out the night. Some things we want to shout out that are going on right now across the sports landscape. So good to see you, Johnny. What's going on, kid? Talk to me.
Hey, good to see you, brother. Good to see you, Sixers, Hotz Edge, Dreamers. Welcome back to the show. Welcome back to the Row. If you want me to just lead off with the Cowboys, maybe we'll even work backwards on this slate because that's the Monday night game they're playing.
Yeah. Let's do it. I love that. That's against the Texans. That's the Battle of Texas.
Yeah. Houston Texans, real creative name there.
Yeah.
The Cowboys, to me, it's crazy. So, like, a friend of mine at work today came up to me and he's like, "What do you think about, Dion? They got like the private jet tracker. He's flying to Dallas. What about, bringing in Dion, bringing in Shador, this and that?" And in theory, I'm totally against that. I don't think Deion Sanders' coaching style would work in the NFL of I'm the top dog, you guys are beneath me. Brings his son, a head coach coaching his own son.
Just to devil's advocate a little bit, only because he's Deion. Like other coaches that are like Nick Sabanese that didn't play, that weren't lore NFL players, would never have a chance to do it. And they've tried to instill this when he was with the Dolphins and shit like that, when Saban was with the Dolphins. So if there's anybody that could maybe do it, by the way, just throwing it out there, it would be Deion. Maybe arguably the best corner ever in the pros. Well, I don't know.
At the end of he's been coaching for 3 years, out of college level, and maybe some high school before that, but also just like I said, the style. You watch the documentaries, like the Coach Prime, and it's we get to Colorado, he's like, "You guys all fucking suck. I'm bringing in my own guys." It's there's no recruiting in the NFL. You have to draft and trade and sign. You can't just get good players to come play for you because
develop.
You're
develop. You got to develop guys in the NFL
and develop too. But it's so in theory, I'm against it. It sounds like a circus, and
absolutely.
And honestly, the flight tracking, I'm pretty sure Deion Sanders just has a home in Texas. I don't know if he was actually meeting with the Cowboys or anything like that. It is kind of weird. And he has a game this weekend, and he is traveling to Texas. I get there's could be smoke where there's fire, or fire where there's smoke, whatever the fucking expression goes. I'm saying it backwards, so I'd have to say it backwards. You know what I'm trying to say? But
I got you.
But
there's smoke, there's fire, by the way, is the phrase. Yeah.
I know, but I'm saying I'm saying it in reverse. So I'm saying
you're deliberately saying it in reverse.
Yeah.
So,
okay. All that being said is to say it sounds circusy, this and that, but to circle all the way back, it's to say anything to reset this, I'm pretty much here for. Anything other than just running it back with McCarthy and Dak and, basically Jason Garrett and Tony Romo 2.0, if you will. It's just to get away from whatever this is that we're in, fire everybody, get rid of everybody, just hard reset. I'm almost down for that. And the Cowboys have been too good to kind of go for that. They won 12 games the last 2 years. It's kind of been McCarthy sucks. He's costing us these big games, but they're still winning 12 games.
Do you trade Dak?
I don't know if Dak's contract is even tradable. Potentially, maybe.
Well, if you're
some of the contracts,
if you're sign a franchise QB and you're an owner in the NFL in theory right now, and you had a person that you drafted that's ready to sign that kind of a max contract, who's you believe a franchise player, and you're one of those teams in the league, from that perspective, wouldn't it be tradable in some kind of stance there?
If we draft someone, I don't even hate that Dak staying for a year, maybe two, where we got a QB on a rookie contract, depending on how that goes. But I honestly don't know the ins and outs of the contract, when they could get out scot-free. I'm sure that it's front-loaded, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But I feel like they'd have to eat it for at least next year before anyone's going to trade for it or something like that.
I like your thought, though. Draft a quarterback if a new coach were to come in, new GM were to come in, a new regime comes in. They draft their own quarterback. They develop him behind Dak, Alex Smith, Patrick Mahomes style. Dak's contract isn't a complete waste. Maybe they make some playoff runs. Maybe Dak does make some noise, ends up being a Kirk Cousins thing where he ends up getting traded and someone gives you guys some pieces or whatever it might be. But he's
also
crazy. NFL's crazy.
Yeah. Kirk Cousins makes sense because he's now coming off an injury too. Maybe the stink or fade of this year, a little bit of how bad he really has played. But what you don't want to do as a football fan, like what I don't want my organization to do is like be like the Jets, where it's always like they're bringing in a coach and then they bring in the GM, then they bring in the quarterback. Like it's that like that's like I feel like it's so a recipe for disaster.
You guys are not a circus in comparison to the Jets.
Oh yeah, Jets, Bears. There's worse organizations for sure.
Absolutely.
But
the way they run is horrible.
But we're heading in that direction. We're closer to those teams than we are to the Chiefs, the 49ers, the teams that are on the rise right now. Like, you know, where you got, but my point being is you need continuity. You need to bring in guys that are all on the same page, bought into the same program at the same time. I don't think, like I said, you can't bring in Joe Douglas and then bring in Salah. I don't know if that's the right order, but they didn't come in at the same time.
The GM can't be decided by the owner, and the coach is already there, and the quarterback isn't there yet, or the quarterback is already there, and the coach wasn't there for that quarterback, like Daniel Jones, Dable style. That's not going to work either. There's and also showing with Jones as well, and then they gave him the contract. That wasn't their guy. That was Gettleman's guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Overall, so yeah, I agree with you completely. The regime and the way it's decided, and it not being top-down funneling always, and it feels like it's just Band-Aid on Band-Aid on Band-Aid on Band-Aid on Band-Aid all fucking day. It's mind-numbing because all you see is mediocrity and like median football. And sometimes you get fooled into these games where like you see it and Dak throws for 450 yards, the defense is sick, Bland has 3 interceptions, and the team looks unbeatable. It's like 1 week, and then that's why the NFL is the craziest fucking sport, because it's such a week-to-week sport. But I still believe that Dak on a good team and a good structure with the right things going on would be an effective quarterback. I firmly believe
I mean, we've seen it. We've seen it plenty of times. Well, with a good situation.
That's not the issue then. So that can't be the issue then, fundamentally. If he's done the job.
If you want to build a team that could win a Super Bowl, maybe you got to look a little further than that. He's, his lack of playoff success, the lack of big game success.
Right.
When things aren't going Dak's way, he tends to fold. He could play with the lead. He could get you out to a lead. He could hold, he's had some good fourth quarter moments, to be fair. I don't want to just completely trash him right now.
When he tried to come back in the fourth quarter, he was still hanging with the game. I forget what game that was, but they
were
the
Ravens game. The Ravens game.
Yeah, maybe it was the Ravens game. It's a good team. And they still brought it within 5, I believe, in the fourth quarter of that game.
No, it's a close game at the end, but at the same time, the game was over. Like, it's like even like with the Packers in the play, like the game, you can be down 28 and go on a 21-0 run, you still lose the fucking game. It doesn't really matter.
Absolutely.
He loses games. And this isn't just a bash Dak session. This is also, like I said, with
we're talking about the Cowboys.
Yeah, and the tough part about the Cowboys, where I say bringing a GM, bringing a coach, bringing a quarterback at the same time for continuity. Right. Well, it's never going to happen because the GM is Jerry Jones, and he, refuses to give up that control. Obviously, he works with Steven, he works with Will McClay, but he won't even give up a title of general manager. He's the owner and general manager. That doesn't exist anymore. That's not a thing. There's no owner GMs anymore.
Will McClay also, for the record. In my
what?
Opinion. I feel it's a slap in the face to Will McClay. McClay has been a big piece of building that team. I feel like he's not part of his own family. He's the perfect guy to name. Why would you not do it? He's just sitting right there.
He's a great in the draft. He's been awesome. But
he's been awesome.
To jump over to the other side, because I know we want to go slate, so we could quickly about the Cowboys, but basically I'd prefer a full reset to, even if we get healthy next year and, run back the same team, Micah, CD, Dak, the offensive line will be a year older, the other role players be a year older, and it's kind of just at a place where we need to try something. I would want to try something different. This is no man's land. This is hell as a sports fan, being good enough to make the playoffs most years, but not win, but get close, but not really. I'd rather be bad and then build for the future and hope we got young players to develop.
It's more tanking. Yeah. We hate it, but as a fan, when your team is shit, but you're about to be the 6th or 7th or 8th or 9th overall pick in the fucking draft, that's not good enough. I don't want to see you be I was so happy. People were talking about the Giants when they lost to Carolina and Germany. Thank you. We have the number 1 overall pick right now for all you dummies out there. I am not trying to get Daniel Jones at 6 again. What the fuck we doing? I'd rather get Travis Hunter at 1 and whatever, we go and get a free agent quarterback if you want to go that
It's
way.
actually it's still the Jaguars at 1 now, Giants at 2.
Okay. I thought maybe we're right there. We're right there. We're knocking on the door. You know what I mean? Like, this is what I heard they're going to sit Jones hopefully the rest of the season. Like, perfectly, they'll avoid the injury exception, which is like $22 million or whatever the fuck it is. Yeah. Perfect.
They're both 2-8, and then the Jaguars have a slightly worse strength of schedule. I think that's the tiebreaker. But just to get back, and real quick before we move on to the Texans, I just want to say, this NFL year, we're talking about like draft picks right now, tanking. There are 11 teams that are 3-6 or worse right now. I feel like that's almost mathematically impossible. There are like the Cowboys are 3-6, and their draft pick is 11th right now. It's crazy. There are.
Well, the buys have to even out though. You got a lot of teams that are 3-7, 2-7. Teams that have played equatable game, like not the equatable amount of games. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's part of what makes it math. But still, you're saying 3-6. Like everyone's played at least 9 games.
Yeah,
and there's 5 2-win teams still.
Jets 3-7, Titans 2-7, Jaguars 2-8. Man, it's ugly out here. Yeah. Yeah.
So it's a tough year. The NFL. It's been such a parity-driven league for a while now. And it seems like this year
right now for sure.
Like from the NFC, we are jumping around, but from the NFC, other than the Lions, like there's a couple other teams who I think are competitive, but Eagles. Like the Lions are way ahead. Yeah, then it goes
on a given night. Eagles could beat the Lions healthy with AJ Brown and everyone there.
The Lions are their own tier to me, and then after that, you get into the Vikings and the Eagles of the world,
and Niners with McCaffrey back,
and Niners, yeah, for
Purdy's
sure.
Balling. Purdy is, I don't know. It's all about Purdy, obviously there, and everyone has their feelings about Purdy. Some people like him, some people don't. And living in the Bay, like some people like him, some people don't. Like literally, that's how it feels out here. It's 50-50 depending on who you talk to in the given week. So we'll see what happens with him. But I think he's good. I think he's made a lot of big throws. I think last year in the playoffs he was very impressive until the injury. So. Or was that maybe that was 2 years ago? Was that last year or was that 2 years ago? That was 2 years ago. The Philly run where he got hurt with the arm thing. That's 2 years ago.
Yeah.
But I heard against the
Eagles 2 years ago.
Yeah.
But no, moving
on. I want to go through the slate. So Cowboys Texans. I actually think this game is trappy. I heard Michael Parsons is going to play in this game.
Yeah, he played last week.
Oh, I didn't see it that much. I didn't watch the Cowboy Philly game that much last week. It was kind of ugly. So
he was back last week. Yeah, but he was back.
Full snaps, or was he like limited?
No, he seemed fine, but I mean, the game was over. It was just, it's not. We talked about the Cowboys enough, but on the other side of that game, so we have the Texans. Texans
maybe take over the building in Jerry World. Maybe that gets ugly there, and Houston fans that just take that shit over. Smells like one of those too, maybe.
I mean, the Cowboys are still so popular. I doubt the Texans take over the stadium, but in terms of the fans, in the game, I can see the Texans taking over the game. Seems like an easy Joe Mixon, 100 yards, 2 touchdowns kind of situation. And, the Texans...
A lot of blood there.
Texans are sneaky. A little bit of, obviously, backup quarterback, but the Texans are sneaky. Kind of a disappointing team this year. Obviously, the division is easy. They're 6-4. They're going to win that division. They're going to make the playoffs. But... yes, Diggs got injured. Collins has been injured, but still, the Texans are losing to teams like the Jets. You know what I mean? I think the Texans were supposed to be a Super Bowl contender, and to me, they're a Super Bowl pretender at best.
But the Jets are like a good bad team, similar to the Texans. Like the Texans on a given night could be the good bad team as well that play like shit and lose to a team they're technically supposed to be better than. So it's like some of these records are lying, I feel like, in a lot of ways in the NFL right now, in some way. But I do think
the Texans are supposed to be a good team, not a good bad team.
That's why I mentioned the sophomore slump thing, though, with what's his name, with CJ.
Well, he still seems to be throwing the ball pretty well. It's just, but like I said, as a team, like 6-4 to me, for a winning record and a team that's going to be in the playoffs, they don't look like a contender to me. And coming into the season, I had them in that category of, and it's like AFC Championship game potential.
They're a little thin. It gets really ugly when you get 1 or 2 injuries right now. We've been seeing like John Mechie III was their leading receiver last week. I'm pretty sure he caught a tud. Like these kinds of guys are going to pop up out of nowhere. Maybe Schultz was the consistent pass catcher the whole day, but again, like you're right. I mean, CJ's nice. I still think CJ has a little wrinkle to him, which makes him a little bit elevates that team to another level. They need Will Anderson and Daniil Hunter to do what they do, and stay healthy on the back end as well with Petrie, another guy that likes to get injured. So we'll see with the Texans. But I do like the Texans to win this game, but Cowboys covering here, that sounds right.
I'll take
Could be wrong,
Texans.
could be 30-0.
Yeah, I'll take the Texans with the points. Like I said, I think it's a heavy Joe Mixon game. They run the ball. Cowboys can't really stop the run. He's been one of the leading rushers when he's been playing, yards per game. And I think he'll probably chew them up.
I think the Cowboys will get up.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I do always like to bet a team coming off a big loss to cover, or
Everyone's
coming off
them in the media. I love it.
Or a team coming off a big win to not cover. Like I always like betting almost against a trend, or just in the NFL especially. Teams are never as bad as they really look. They still are professional players, and teams are never as good as they really look. There always are faults and holes and injuries. So, but moving on, what's the next game? We're working backwards.
At Chargers on Sunday Night Football, since we're going backwards right now.
Bengals Chargers. I mean, the Chargers are a team I'm starting to believe more and more in. The Jim Harbaugh effect. They're a little tougher. They run the ball a little better. And I think we forget just how good Justin Herbert really is as a quarterback. I mean, he's not had a chance to really show it up in big games. The one playoff game he did have, they blew the big lead to the Jaguars, at least in my memory, the one playoff game that they had. They might have had some other ones with Herbert. But that's the big memory game, is they lose the big lead to the Jaguars in the second half.
They were up, I think it was. Yeah.
Yeah, something along those lines. But when he's playing good and he's dialed in, he's locked in, I mean, he's talented, super talented.
Yeah, for sure. He broke the passing record. I think his rookie year, he had 5,000 passing yards. I'm pretty sure his rookie year or something like that, second year, he's had the most passing yards over first 3 years. He had all those records for a while. I mean, he's definitely a guy that can get the ball out. Obviously with him, sometimes it's just protecting the ball, throwing the ball to the other team, maybe fumbling, just being a little bit too backyard with it. But I think, like you said, the Jim Harbaugh effect is real. He's controlling the ball. They're not turning it over. That run game with Dobbins is fire. I love J.K. Dobbins, obviously, on my fantasy team. We're 7-3 over here. Thank you. Anyway, believed in you, J.K. Dobbins, and it's been paying off. So it's a good feeling. Coming off the Achilles injury that everyone pretty much wrote him off. And yeah, I think that team is exciting. I do think they're missing real pass catchers. Ladd's not a nice player. Josh Palmer every now and then can catch the big catch, but they really don't have a reliable pass catcher when you need it. And in the playoffs, when shit gets tight, I feel like that's gonna hurt them. Will Dissly I'm pretty sure led them in targets last week. That can't be. So I love Herbert. I do agree with what you're saying. Herbert elevates some of those guys like Ladd and some of those guys to good pass catchers, but they're missing guys for sure. They really, in the playoffs when it gets tight, they're missing guys. But for this game against the Bengals at home in SoFi, I like the Bengals actually here. I think I would take the Bengals. I think actually it's tough. It's 1.5 at home. Wow. And they're 6-3 and they're 4-6. A lot of hate for the Chargers here.
Well, you were talking about records being liars. The Bengals. The Bengals
offensive line is fucked up. So
the Bengals played the Ravens twice and lost by a combined 6 or 7 points. Went toe to toe with them. Lost a really tight one against the Commanders in a battle between Jaden Daniels and Joe Burrow. They've had their defense is their issue, but I think with the Chargers' ability, because they have a good defense also, but they also can control the clock, run the ball, play good defense. I think at home, again, the only thing that is holding me back from fully endorsing the Chargers, that the Bengals are one of those teams that when they have to win, they tend to get the win. And then on top of that, the Bengals are 4-6 right now, and I could easily still see them making the playoffs this year. So to make the playoffs this year, they'd have to win a game like this on the road against the Chargers.
Exactly. Yeah. So, all right, I'm riding. I'll take the Bengals here. Joey B.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Chargers to cover the 1.5. I think they're good. I think they're a good, legit team.
Yeah, I do too. I like your pick. I just think that the Bengals, this is their season, like you just said. So I think that's the convincing point that actually I like the most out of all these points that we both just made, that what you just said is that the Bengals season's on the line. Basically 4-7 is killing you. So, all right, we'll move on. This is the big game of the week, obviously. Chiefs at Bills in Buffalo. It's not going to be snowing as far as I know. It's a nice and hot winter right now for all of us. Private James, how you doing?
Today was the first like cold day, and it wasn't even that cold, but it like felt really. It's almost like I've become a West Coast person. Like it's a little cold, and I'm like, oh man, it's really cold because it's been like 75,
like 65 degrees. I was freezing.
It's been like 75, 80 degrees, and today was probably colder than that. It was probably like 30, 40, maybe probably like 40. And I'm like, damn, it's like super duper cold because it's been
sick
fucking
cold. Holy shit.
Yeah, remember like Halloween used to be fucking cold? Like you'd be like, oh, I hope I fucking wore a warm enough costume. Now it's like fucking 80 degrees out on Halloween. Crazy. But getting back to what we were talking about, which is the Chiefs and the Bills. Mm-hmm. This is an interesting game to me. I like the Bills at home, but I don't. You know, the Chiefs just find ways to win. They're gonna lose at some point. I don't think they go undefeated and three-peat and have this heroic effort. I just don't think they're quite that good. You know, but they also find ways to.
The Bills. Something stinks here, dude.
They just find ways to win games, though. I mean, I don't know what the line is or anything like that. Like, if the Bills are getting points, the Bills are favorites.
Getting points.
Yeah. That's a rule of thumb: is never bet the Chiefs as an underdog. I mean, never bet against the Chiefs as an underdog.
Yeah,
like,
true.
I would never. That's just that's losing money.
Playground for sure. That's like our OG take on this fucking pod. Like, never bet against the Chiefs.
Oh, I mean, I last year throughout the whole playoffs, they were underdogs like every round, and I bet them every round because I'm just like, I can't bet the Chiefs. You know, it's just well, I mean, and they very well might lose this weekend. I'm not saying they're definitely going to win or anything like that, but my point being is it's just not a smart play betting wise, gambling wise, to bet against the best team in the NFL when they're getting points. But that being said, I don't think they'll run the table and win the Super Bowl good, and this is like a loss on their schedule that would make sense. And on top of that, for the Bills, it's all right, we got to prove we could beat these guys at some point. I don't think they could play them in the playoffs, losing this game and losing the last few years in the playoffs, and go into that game confidently in the playoffs. At the end of the day, they're NFL players, but they're humans. If somebody's got your number and you're going to go fight them, and you know that they're bigger, stronger,
and faster, they beat you at full strength with Matt Milano in there. Cookies is in there. Like, they've beaten you even when you're better. Like, you're not even at your best right now. Coleman's going to be out for this game. Cooper's nursing a wrist injury or whatever, the ankle injury, whatever the fuck's going on with him. Like, they're not even at their, they're 100%. So, yeah.
But I do kind of like this version of the Bills where it's like almost like let Josh do whatever he wants, have no mouths to necessarily feed. The one thing I'll say about the Bills is they maybe abandon the run a little bit too much. I think James Cook is a good running back. They have a good running game. They can get Josh Allen involved in it.
Yeah.
And I think Joe Brady, he's been better than Ken Dorsey, but still, like, he also just like abandons the run too soon. Like, at the philosophy wise, maybe it's Josh at the line and I'm putting too much on the coordinators, but it does seem like if the Bills wanted to be a run dom, almost like the Chargers. Like we talk about the Chargers. If they wanted to,
pass happy, absolutely. It happens,
so
for sure.
And if that happens against the Chiefs, like, I think the way to beat the Chiefs is to run the ball, control the clock, keep it out of Mahomes' hands.
Though, doesn't really allow you a lot of the times to run that ball. I mean, they're ferocious.
Absolutely. I mean, we talked about it recently how like much praise we give Patrick Mahomes, but really, it like is the Chiefs
and Chris Jones and these animals on defense and McDuffie, these guys that play the nickel. Like, these guys are nasty.
Yeah, we talked about it recently, Spagnuolo, the coaching, the ownership, all the way down. Like that it is a dynasty of a franchise not being carried by a quarterback. Like, I'd argue that
game in fucking 2 years or whatever the fuck.
I'd argue that like the Brady days, like he was doing more carrying than Mahomes. Not early, I would say this Mahomes is like early Brady when they still had that Belichick defense with Seymour and Ty Law and Lawyer Malloy and Teddy Bruschi, and he was really good in big moments. Like,
and the good tight end, and just the good tight end, and you're looking for pass catchers galore, and like you're searching on the far and wide for them.
But this is even like I'm talking like pre-Gronk, like I'm talking like Ben Watson at tight end, and Deion Branch, and like.
Wow.
Deion Branch, David Givens, like those teams where now we see, they drafted Xavier Worthy. They just added Hopkins, but last season, I guess we could point more towards it. Like, they didn't have the receivers. They leaned on their defense.
The Troy Browns of the world, the Deion Branches of the world.
Exactly.
Like, yeah, absolutely. I got you.
Mahomes is in its young Brady era right now, where it's like, so I like it too, and I like I said, you can't bet against them, but we'll keep it moving.
Yeah, let's keep it moving here. So, all right, we'll take the Chiefs on the road there with the points. Seahawks at 49ers out in the Bay here. Let's see what we got here. 4-5 team versus a 5-4 team. Seahawks season is up and down. Mike McDonald's a solid coach. I think he'll figure it out. I think he's a smart brain coming over from the Ravens, the head coach of the Seahawks now. So I like the Seahawks here to kind of sneak one, but the McCaffrey effect, I feel like this is the game where McCaffrey gets the ball 25, 30 times for 160 yards and 3 touchdowns. And if you're playing against him, which I think I am in one of my leagues, like, you're fucked this week. This smells like one of those. It's going to be nice out, I'm sure. It's still nice in Cali right now. So, yeah. Minus 6.5 for a tud. Yeah, let me get that.
Yeah, I think the Niners are starting to round into form. I think they were one of those teams that weren't playing great, but no one was really writing off because they knew they had injuries and they knew that they have been so good for the last few years as an organization that where almost like we were talking about with the Bengals, where like they could start slow and then turn it on, and before you know it, they're in the Super Bowl.
Absolutely.
You know, and, like I think they might be
they're one of those teams that has another gear. There's no question. I agree with that.
I would honestly say out of the teams in the NFC, you know, I'd actually put them above the Vikings or the Eagles, you know, even based on record-wise, like who has the best shot.
Eagles, really? The
best shot to dethrone the Lions. I think they match up better. I think when you get, like I said, if McCaffrey could be 100%, if Debo's 100%, if these guys could round into form, you know, I think Juwan Jennings could step right into that Brandon Ayuk role pretty much seamlessly without losing much at all.
$120 million. Yeah. Yeah. What was he doing when he was even on the fucking field? They barely were getting him the ball. Like,
I think people underestimate when you don't practice all through training camp, like how hard it is to get back into shape, get back into rhythm.
Like you can do it. Yeah.
Yeah. I think you got to practice to be good. You know, it's like, you know, Steve Young said this. I don't know. He got it from someone else maybe, but Steve Young would say football is glorified choreography, where like everyone has to be in sync. Like you can't just be like a dance. Like if everyone's doing a dance and everyone's been practicing for 2 months and then a new dancer comes in to like, and they've only been studying that choreography for one day, they're going to stick out like a sore thumb, you know?
Yeah.
And in football, you'll stick out by not standing out
that's a fact.
For the lack of a better word. But
for sure.
But I like the 49ers this week. And just real quick while we're on this division, because the Cardinals are on a bye this week, I think it's time to shout out the Cardinals. Shout out Kyler Murray. You know, we give him a lot of shit, but you know, if Kyler Murray was tall, I feel like he would get no hate. Like, you know, like
no, it's like, also the way he runs, John. He looks like a fucking it looks
because he's short. That's why he looks like that.
Even like it looks like your little cousin running away from you at a holiday party or something. It's like
little because he's short. That's what I'm saying.
Is he a legit midget? Like is he like a dignified midget or something? Like he's not that short. He's still a 5'10" guy.
No, yeah, I mean that a 5'10" guy at the NFL is the short.
Is he that tall, or am I overstating it, Kyler?
I mean, he might be listed taller than that, but he's no way he's taller than 5'10".
Look it up. 5'10". All right, I was on.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
There's no way, and that's probably pushing it. You know, like
with cleats on, he's probably pushing 6 foot.
Nah, either way, I'm just saying Kyler Murray gets a lot of hate. Like, and if you go through his statistics throughout the years and you go through his numbers, like he's actually pretty good. I mean, the whole thing with the thing in his contract about watching a certain amount of film and then the Call of Duty and then it gets but you look at him now, I think they're 6-4.
He's a FaZe Clan member and all that shit.
Yeah, now they're 6-4. He's starting to get dialed in. The Cardinals look good. Cardinals are sneaky.
Trey Benson had a touchdown. He looked kind of good. It's your boy. Obviously, Jimmy Connor's nasty. Everyone still needs to know that this guy runs the ball.
Does anyone call him Jimmy Connor?
I do, because I'm on my fantasy teams carrying this Jimmy Connor right there.
Wasn't that a basketball player like Jimmy Connors?
That's a tennis player.
Tennis player.
Mad good tennis player against McEnroe and all those guys. Good shout. Different spelling, too. But yeah, James Conner, nasty. Marvin Harrison Jr. is looking like he's coming into form, kind of finding how to be a pro and catching tough touchdowns. And I mean, they look good. I agree. I like Arizona for sure. I know he had a good rookie year too, but like Trey McBride is one of those guys who coming out of college, like came out of kind of nowhere. Like I watch a lot of college football. I don't remember Trey McBride at all.
And
I want that guy on the Giants. Yeah, that guy's a psychopath.
He's a monster. He's an absolute beast. So
that
they
one
got
catch
some
he had
ballers.
it was like surrounded by 4 or 5 guys. He got gang tackled by them. He just gets up screaming, psycho, with this look in his eyes, like he wants the pain. He's a maniac for sure. Good shout.
Before we get to the next game, I also just one more shout for the Cardinals. So I watched that game against. I bet on the Cardinals. That was one of my group chat picks. You know, I bet on the Cardinals plus 105. Fucking won by like 25 points. But I watched that game like that was my game. Like the Cowboys were getting killed, as we talked about. Like I had both of the games on, but my eyes were focused on one TV more because I wanted to shield my. I wanted to shield my eyes. You know, like all those fucking players looking into the sun. I was shielding my eyes watching the game.
Dude. This whole eyes thing, the sun thing, and the Jerry world is fucking.
I just wanted the quick joke. I don't know. I'm done. I'm exhausted on it. But the Cardinals. Budda Baker. That was the last person I wanted to shout out. He's fucking incredible. Like defensive player of the year. Incredible.
Plays all 3 lines, dude. He plays the real safety. He comes down into the like the square almost like as like an outside linebacker. He's like playing like the outside, like crazy positioning. Where he is on the field, it's everywhere, bro. The whole field is his real estate. It's insane.
And he like talks shit the right way, like talks mad shit, but like is also like having fun out there, like kind of shit. Like I love Budda Baker.
JJ Watt shouted him out when I was watching the Pat McAfee show like a week ago. He was talking about like back in the day, like talking about Arizona. I don't know why, but they were, and he was like the one guy on that team I always just like respect. That he's like Budda Baker. This guy's insane.
Feel like I don't know why, because they were teammates there. JJ Watt finished his career with the Cardinals.
Right, I forgot JJ was on Arizona. I don't know how I didn't link that. I forgot at the end of his career. I was
associated. I don't know why he was talking about the Cardinals, and you know, they played on the same.
About JJ being in Arizona. What a good call.
They were fucking brothers in the locker room. But next game.
Yeah, let's go to the next game. Falcons at Broncos. This is interesting. Justin Simmons going back to play against his old team here that he was at for a lot of years. So I'm sure that's a nice homecoming for him. Just a side note. But yeah, Falcons 6-4, Broncos 5-5. Broncos actually played a nice game last week against the Chiefs. That was a sloppy game, and they kind of leaned into it and did what they had to do to keep themselves in it. Felt like they let it slip away. They almost had the game in their hands at one point.
They had a field goal blocked with no time left. They're also
beyond the field goal. Like before that, they had a chance to score like another touchdown, and the whole drive got stalled out. But Bo Nix looks like a guy.
Absolutely.
You know, I like him for sure. Obviously, we both bidded on Estime on the waivers this week. He looks like he might be a guy that might be getting some more touches. For sure. So
you like Jaleel McLaughlin though. You don't even like Estime.
Nah, I'm a guy that moves with the current. I'm not the McLaughlin guy. I thought that was Rob. Rob was the McLaughlin guy, I thought.
Yeah, you were like texting me, Estime over McLaughlin, huh? Blah, blah. They're at the end of the season.
That was panning. That's still
panning. He's about to be their lead back the last fucking
their lead back apparently.
End of the season.
Some of the things I'm reading for sure. But yeah, Broncos at home, nice defense against Kirk Cousins. That could get ugly, maybe.
Yeah, the Broncos are very sneaky, a pretty good team. 5-5, have some good wins on their resume. Kick the shit out of the Bucs when the Bucs before the, Mike Evans and Chris Godwin injury. Obviously played the Chiefs tough. Like you said, Bo Nix looking like he's a guy. Sean Payton, been a good coach a long time in this league. Their defense is tough. Yeah. Cortland Sutton, they got some players on offense. Like you said, Estime, Javonte Williams, McLaughlin, all three of them they could each carve out their own role, get a defined identity. Could be good. I mean, and I think Bo Nix is one of those guys who's going to make stupid plays and be like, because, I mean, even when you watch him in college, there was always like, oh, shit moments with Bo Nix. But that being said, like, he's also a guy that, like, as a teammate, seems to get the guys jazzed and juiced, and they want to play for him because he plays hard. He runs hard. He sticks his head in there. He's trying to make plays every time he's out there, trying to be a special player. So, I'm a big fan of his. I think that on the other side of the ball, we got the Falcons, and barring a Younghoe Koo collapse last weekend, they should have won too.
Yeah, absolutely. The Falcons are a weird team. They used to have the kicking last year. Koo was exceptional, and they were not a great offense. And now they seem to be a decent offense, and they don't have the kicking anymore. So, Falcons just seem to always have clouds over their organization for some reason, for one reason or another, that it just has not panned out for them. I don't I don't know. I mean, it also feels like sometimes Kirk Cousins is screaming at the top of his lungs, which is what I've said to you before when he's throwing the ball. Like, he doesn't even know where his receiver is, and he's just rocket firing, like blindly throwing the ball across the middle. And it's like whether his guy gets it or the other team gets it, it's just a crapshoot. And like, he had a horrible pick in that game. But he also had a dime in that game across the middle to Drake London. So it's like pick your poison with Kirk Cousins, I feel like sometimes. And but I love Bijan. Bijan's amazing.
I have a question for you.
Sure.
So do you think they try to force the running back duo a little bit too much? Like, because obviously you want Algier. I'm not saying he's bad, but it does seem like they almost try to force him into the game, get him touchdowns. Like, this perfect example is last weekend. They're a first and goal. They run it with him 3 times, get stopped all 3. Then they bring in Bijan on 4th down, get the touchdown easily.
Heart attack.
Yeah. So what do you think? Is there anything to that, or is it just that they have 2 good running backs they're trying to work through?
I'm biased. Yeah. So, like, in that specific scenario, I would love Bijan to always get the ball. But I do like the idea of a spell back of sorts just because Bijan could get hurt.
But I feel like you could get. I feel like the whole. I guess obviously mathematically, the more mathematically more times you touch the ball, the more chances you have of getting injured.
Right.
But at the same time, it's like you could get injured. You can't predict what touch you're going to get injured on. Like, you could say I honestly think running backs get stronger as the game goes on. The defenses get more tired than offenses do because they're on the field more plays, and then on top of that, they have to pursue.
Right.
If
Pursuing tackle is a lot more of an effort than just doing the actual function of what you've been doing the whole game.
Yeah, than Bijan just running a route because he runs a route and then the play's over. If you were guarding Bijan, you guard him, and then if someone else catches the ball, you have to collapse to the ball and
100%.
pursue. So you're running more, your defense get more tired. That being all this to say, they have they're branded as a 1-2 punch. You know, like Montgomery and Gibbs.
That would be the brand anymore.
Like Montgomery and Gibbs, you know what I mean? Like,
that's stupid because there's no way.
Yeah, like literally someone in the group chat put them in the same sentence together. Like Montgomery and Gibbs or Algier and Bijan. Like, that's not a thing. Like, there's no nickname for Algier and Bijan. Like, you know,
I agree. I'm glad you're saying this. I completely agree, and I do agree that to a point, like, there's no Gainwell and Saquon Barkley. Like, Gainwell gets in the game, but like that's Saquon Barkley's 3-down offense, and that's what it should be always for Bijan. And I feel like it is half-heartedly. I agree with you in some circumstances that it is half-heartedly. They do like something about Tyler, but yeah, I mean, in general, Bijan's been getting the ball a lot more over the last 5 weeks, and generally speaking, he's been getting 2 touchdowns a week and been a monster. I've been watching, obviously, very closely.
Yeah, no, Bijan's, and it's not like a crazy. I'm not asking for some crazy switch. I'm not even asking. I don't like the Falcons. I mean, I had them on here as a team that I thought would disappoint this year. You know, I'm going against my own take and saying this. What I think would be better for them would be maybe 3 less touches for Algier a game, 3 more touches for Bijan, but in the 3 to 5 range. I'm not saying completely cut Algier out of the game. Every team needs a spell back to an extent. Like you were just saying, Gainwell and Saquon.
On first down on the goal line, why the fuck is Bijan Robinson not getting the ball there?
Pretty much, yeah.
Like, on 2nd down and goal from the goal line, why is Bijan Robinson not getting the ball there? On 3rd and goal from the goal line, why is Bijan Robinson not getting the ball there? It took till 4th down for them to give him the ball. Such fucking asinine shit.
Yeah, and it's even like you said,
the other way and gave him a fucking safety and just put my middle fingers up to the fucking bench. Fuck y'all.
Nah, I don't know about all that, but I'm just saying. You said it right. Like, even if you give him 1st and 2nd, he gets stuffed. It's like, bring him B's down on 3rd. Why are we making this even stressful?
Oh, yeah, exactly. The 4th down thing is so crazy. It's the fact that he's on 3rd even is nuts.
It is very funny. Like, well, we're gonna run it 4 times on the goal line, and the first 3 times we're gonna use the 2nd best player, and then on 4th down we're gonna rely on the guy to bail us out. Yeah. Crazy. But who you pick in this game?
Just because of that whole optics and what we just described about the offensive coordinator, whoever the fuck is making these decisions about personnel, I'm picking the Broncos at home.
I mean, I agree with you. 2 teams who had kicking issues last week. I think the kicking stuff has been going on a bit longer, and like
And
you
Will
said,
Lutz,
he was
that was a block. That's different. I like Will Lutz in general.
I think he was short on one too that ended up like getting returned. Either way, even not just Will Lutz, but the protection, like there was issues there. But
Sure.
my point being is that Koo has been a longer lasting thing that I'm leaning towards. Like, okay, he's in trouble. Like whether it's mental, whether it's a physical injury, whatever's going on with Koo, the Falcons aren't good enough to not be able to rely on him. He was been a strength for them for years, and now he's a problem. And I don't know if they can overcome
paradise. You get the mile high. You usually get a little bump with the amount of yards that you can kick it, the distance wise, because you're elevation. So,
thin air.
Thin air. So in general, maybe Koo will actually have a good game and bounce back. It is. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Maybe getting out of the dome and getting out of his head will help him a little bit.
Yeah, because kicking in a dome is so hard.
Just maybe a mentality. It's all mentality with these guys. Yeah. They're like golfers. All right, moving on. Ravens at Steelers. What a game. These games this weekend are exceptional. I'm happy this is before Thanksgiving, and I can just enjoy this in my house here. Oh, my God.
Deontay Johnson revenge game, unscheduled.
Ooh.
Originally.
Oh, no. This is... But that's not a real revenge game. Like, that's not how the colloquial term of a revenge game. Like, that's a revenge game, but, like, damn, that's not, like... It is the most revenge game.
I said like unscheduled revenge game.
Yeah,
like you didn't think it was going to happen when the season started.
True.
But no, but I mean, breaking down this game, the Steelers have been really good, and I think
dogs at home.
Mike Tomlin doesn't get enough credit. I mean, I get that. They've had a lot of barely over 500 years. A lot of barely this, barely that. But I'm talking about like. Yeah. Taking your balls and putting them on the table and being like, okay, we're 3-1 with Justin Fields or whatever it was. I'm still going to put in Russell Wilson because that's the move I made. He was the starter. We're better off with him. I don't give a fuck what the media says. Yeah. And they clearly are better with him. He's making good throws. He's performing well. Haven't lost a game,
Russell Wilson. For anybody out there wondering how many games they won with Russell Wilson and versus Justin Fields, they haven't lost a game. I'm pretty sure the Steelers.
I'm not sure if that's true, but I
think they're 7-2.
I know they lost. I thought they were 3-1 when.
Yeah, they won their last
Fields came out.
Bro, the Dallas game was the last Fields game, dude. They've
won every game since Dallas.
They won every game: Vegas, Jets, Giants, and Washington, because they had the bye.
Besides Washington, those are fucking very easy wins, though.
Yeah, well, the Jets, I give them a little bit more credit. The Giants walk, and the Vegas is a walk. But
dude, you give the Jets entirely too much credit. The Jets are terrible. The Jets lost to the Patriots. The Jets are a bad team. The Jets are not a good team at all. They are right down there with the Cowboys, the Giants. They are not sticking their nose down at any NFL team.
Really? The Cowboys, really?
Yeah, I think that the Jets are. We were talking about disappointing teams with the Texans before. Like the Jets might be the most disappointing team in the NFL. They're firing coaches. They're trading for wide receivers.
No question about it.
They're eventually bringing Hassan Reddick on, even though he doesn't even want to fucking be there. They're trying everything in the fucking kitchen sink to appease Aaron Rodgers, to make this thing fucking work somehow, and they still suck. Like they got smoked by the Cardinals.
Because you know who sucks? Aaron Rodgers.
I mean, I think he's kind of crossed the level of whether it's the fucking ayahuasca or whatever it is. He's went into a point where I feel like he thinks he's fucking a deity, like he's on a different level, and it's made him worse because he thinks he's so fucking good, and everything else is the problem.
He walks on this elevated plane now. It's just.
I think he criticized Mike Williams like doing the wrong thing.
Yeah, the red line. And then, something to do with the red line. And then
exactly,
Mike Williams caught the tud or something like that. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. And then Mike caught the tud and he commented on his Instagram post, like, #red line, like right at Aaron. I love that.
Yeah, because he's saying, like, all right, it's all my fault, but the first game I play with this new team with no reps, I get the game-winning touchdown, like.
See the throw on the fucking play, though? Mike Williams is an over-the-top jump ball guy. The ball is used that play it was intercepted, which lost them that game, which was thrown to Mike Williams on that right sideline. He threw it like it was an inside route, but Mike had position to go do exactly what he did with Russell Wilson. Do you remember that?
I think that the issue isn't even necessarily whether Mike Williams was in the wrong spot or not, or whether Aaron Rodgers made a great throw or not. The issue is, why the fuck do you have to open your big fucking stupid mouth and criticize your teammates when you could just say, oh, miscommunication. Oh, I need to be better. You could say all this football jargon to make it a non-fucking issue, but instead of doing that, you have to say, oh, he's supposed to be on the red line instead of the... You know what I mean? Almost like he talks to the media like he's defending himself, or like has to like prove to everyone else it's someone else's fault, as opposed to just... Like I said, even if it was Mike Williams' fault, he's in the wrong spot, he ran the play wrong. Just why do you have to specifically call him out, talk about all this deep shit that no one fucking cares about? At the end of the day, the fucking usual fan, all the usual casual fan, that's the word I'm looking for. All the casual fan hears, oh, it's Mike's fault, it's not my fault.
Right.
They're not like, let me watch the all 22 coaches film and see where the fucking defense is lined up, so I could fucking decipher
see that
who's actually right.
Know as a football fan that actually it was Aaron's fucking fault beyond the words being spoken. For sure. I agree.
Yeah, who fucking cares? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I just want my quarterback to fucking, like, and even the shit earlier in the year where Salah's like trying to give him a hug, he like pushes him. Like,
I remember that.
You know, it's like, why the fuck just give your fucking coach a hug? You just scored a touchdown, you're winning. What the fuck is going on? Like, he's way too like
he's
crazy. He's a crazy person. He's actually.
He's very.
I don't trust him.
Very egotistical. I would say is a word I would use for him. Like it's like he's in his own aura and this spell of being. He's
crossed egotistical into narcissism. Like,
yeah,
you know,
for sure.
like,
No, he is capital narcissist. Yeah, to a T for sure.
But what were we talking about?
It explains why he's only had one Super Bowl win. Probably before all this stuff kicked in is when he won that. Oh, what year was that? Oh, that's right, 2012. Yeah,
I think I was in college.
It was his last Super Bowl appearance and win for the fucking record. Yeah.
Yeah, at the same time as Mike McCarthy, and see how much credit he gets for that fucking Super Bowl. He's like known as one of the worst coaches in the league, you know? So now it's maybe Rodgers' time to sit as one of the worst quarterbacks in the league, you know, at least starting. But this game, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take the Steelers at home. I think I like what the Steelers got going on right now. I can see the Ravens laying an egg.
No. Lamar.
Sticking with Lamar. All right, we should run through these next few quick. They're getting into the kind of worst matchups.
All right, let's go. All right, Jets, Colts. Jets at home.
Jets, Colts.
Jets are favored, -4. Oh, give me the Colts with Anthony Richardson starting.
Anthony Richardson's back?
Yeah, officially. They keep flip-flopping. The team is a mess, too. You talk about it in dysfunction, the Colts. Man.
That almost seemed like a decision that
their owner to kind of...
It seemed like
I don't like talking like this. These guys are legends. Jerry Jones, like Irsay, these guys are legends, but...
Nah, I mean, Jim Irsay has fucking...
paid everyone.
GM. He has general managers. You can't compare him to fucking Jerry Jones.
Yeah,
Jim Irsay's a good...
But he's Ballard's like his second son. He's never going to fire him, dude.
Jim Irsay's a good owner, and I think like they've been really good for a really long time under him. Won Super Bowl. You know, after the Peyton Manning dismissal, had a really good plan, got Andrew Luck. Andrew Luck's career, they almost executed the plan too well, is that they tanked so well that team was so bad that Andrew Luck came to that he couldn't survive that O-line. But to be fair, Andrew Luck as a rookie brought that roster to the playoffs, which is exceptional.
And to the AFC Championship game.
I don't know if that was his rookie.
I swear, against the Patriots. Yeah, certain. In the cold, I remember he went and played in Gillette and lost.
I remember they beat the Bengals. Yeah, I'm trying. It's a little foggy, but
I remember Andrew wearing it. Gillette. Yeah.
But that team had no business being anywhere close. That team was bad.
T.Y. Hilton, fuck yeah, just like killing it.
But you know, back to the game at hand. You know, I can't bet on the Jets as favorites. You know, after all that talk that I just did shitting on them, so I got to go with the Colts.
Against the Colts, who are 4-6, shows that Vegas feels the dysfunction in the Colts is more dysfunctional than the Jets right now. It's interesting.
Well, the Jets are also at home. You know, there's some factors there.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
And the Colts, lastly, I just think they got a little bullied by their fan base into putting Richardson back in.
100%. Yeah. Speaking of fan base, it's all Pat on his show, and whatever he says, they do, basically. They're like slaves to his opinion, basically. Anyway, Browns at Saints. This is an interesting game. Saints with that replacement coach, whatever his name is, got his first win last week. Derek Carr starting there. Olave is apparently going to come back this season at some point. Not this game, but at some point. The Browns are fire sale, but this is a Jameis Winston return game, I believe, right? From the Saints. He was on the Saints, so coming back. Yeah, I picked him up just in case. What's it called? Jake wanted to pick him up to replace Baker this week, so he has no options in waiver wire.
A little QB block play, that advanced fantasy.
Little Truba against Lords. Oh, fuck. What's up, Jake?
Yeah, fuck Truba. I'm still mad at him from the playoffs. Yeah. But no, getting into this game real quick. The Browns and the Saints. Dennis Rizzi. Obviously, it's often talked about in the media like a fire coach, bring in the interim coach.
Yep.
You get a bump the next game usually. You know, the Saints got that bump. They got that win last week. But I don't know this one. I don't have the numbers on this as much. It does feel like the second, like after that first game, it usually reverts back to the mean of like the Saints aren't fucking very good.
That's correct.
However, the Browns aren't very good either. But I do think the Browns have a good coach. Kevin Stefanski's a pretty good coach.
Saints roster though is still Carr, Kamara, Juwan Johnson. There's some guys.
Yeah, they got some players. Taysom Hill's a good player.
Taysom Hill, they got some athletes.
But they also are moving guys like Lattimore. I think Lattimore was banged up at the time anyway. I don't know if he's actually playing. Mm-hmm. But the Browns been getting rid of guys also, so it's obviously Amari Cooper.
Zadarius Smith out of there.
Yeah, Zadarius Smith as well to the Lions. But to break this down, I do think that they get the boost, and then the boost falls off. Browns at home. I like Jameis Winston. I like the Browns' defense still, even without Zadarius Smith.
This is in New Orleans.
Oh, it's in New Orleans?
Which I like even more for Jameis going back to New Orleans. That's really the revenge game that it needs to be.
Yeah, his first time back since
right.
When he
that puts more actually in your basket for sure. I think.
What was the last game there? Was when he didn't take the knee, right? And they gave it to Jamal Williams instead.
That's right. Yep.
Yeah. But no, I mean, I think firing Dennis Allen was the move for the Saints, but I don't think this guy Rizzi has like long-term lasting great coach. Like I said,
he reminds me of
I think Antonio Pierce? Yeah, we were on the same page there. Antonio Pierce won their first game back, and then I think he got killed the next game or whatever. And now they hired him, and we see where the Raiders are at. So
yeah, even like the Rich Bisaccia thing, same thing. Like it's just like
you were talking about a different Raiders interim coach.
Yeah. I like Pierce. I would never throw my giant under the bus. I would have went to Rich to talk about that, but anyway. But yeah, I'm riding with you. I'll take the Browns here. The Browns are getting favored on the road. Again,
it's crazy.
Home dogs, bro. This is crazy. You can have a home dog parlay this week. You want to really be bold? Take the Jets. You take the Saints at home. You take the Steelers at home, and then you take. Let's see who else. Let's see if there's any other home dogs this week that you can snipe. Let's see here. Oh my God, Lions game is out of control. Oh, Titans against the fucking Vikings at home. Smelly. That shit's smelly too. We're going there next anyway. So
real quick, isn't it crazy that like we thought of 2 interim head coaches in Raiders' recent history? Yeah. And like there are teams that have never fired a head coach in the middle of the season in their history as a franchise. And we have like 2 in the last 5 years for the Raiders.
I don't think the Giants have ever. I don't remember ever hearing that.
I don't think the Bears have. I can't remember the Cowboys doing it. I don't think
the Cowboys don't do it either. Pittsburgh doesn't do it. There's like a few lore franchises that just have certain type of code, I believe, in their building where the way they operate is just different, in my opinion. I think some franchises are very.
I wouldn't even say just different. I would say better and smarter.
For sure. More traditional about it versus like a Tepper who's a fucking egomaniac and is just going to walk downstairs and fire the fuck out of you if he feels like it.
The Steelers have had Bill Cowher and Mike Tomlin for like, it's got to be over 30 years now. Like it's like probably pushing like 40 years, and fucking they have as many interim coaches in the last 5 than Steelers have had head coaches in the last fucking 30.
Yeah, Giants and Cowboys are kind of mirrored too, because you guys have had long tenured coaches too. Jason Garrett had a long tenure. just like Tom Coughlin had a long tenure.
Giants had some shorties in there though. Ben McAdoo, Joe Judge.
Years now we've had some shorties like Shermer, Joe Judge,
Ben McAdoo.
Made the playoffs with McAdoo first year before the slick came in. When he was just a normal guy, couldn't just stay a normal guy.
I honestly forgot about Shermer. That's crazy.
Yeah, he's actually in the league somewhere. He's calling plays somewhere. I would have to look it up, but he's definitely calling plays somewhere.
All right, but I'm going. I'll take the Saints if they're home.
Okay, all right. We're taking the Browns.
We started early, so we can run long. Fuck it.
Yeah, Rams at Patriots.
Rams. I think the Rams are going to make a push. They're like the kindergarten Bengals, if you will. Like they're like not good, but if they make the playoffs, like I won't be surprised. And they're in a spot they got to win.
Jared Verse, dude. Yo.
Yeah. You're talking about him in the group chat. Go shout him out real quick.
Yeah, he's amazing. This guy is amazing. Healthy, stays healthy. The way he plays football, his motor, Hall of Fame. Not kidding. I'm not even trying to freak out right now. He has a different level to him. I feel like he can move guys. He moves the line. He's smart. He has great instincts. You can't teach some of the shit that he can do. Big fan.
Florida State boy, if I'm not mistaken.
That's right. This is a trappy game for the Rams. Another home dog Patriots. There we go. Throw them in. Big parlay for the home dogs this week.
Are you doing the home dogs with the points, or are you doing a money line?
Always with the points. Got to take the points.
All right.
Yeah.
Rams, Patriots. I do want to shout out Drake May, briefly. I think he's a guy who's starting to look like a player. It seems like he can make things happen when everything else is falling apart around him, which is a characteristic is good to see in a young quarterback and any quarterback, really. Obviously, kind of similar to Bo Nix, still makes plays where you're like, scratch your head.
We are simpatico. I was just thinking Bo Nix. Simpatico. I was thinking Bo Nix when you were saying that. I was like, he reminds me of Bo Nix. Like he can scramble a little bit if he has to. He has a little wrinkle. He can throw the ball.
He's like Bo Nix. Like I would say Bo Nix. I'll tell you exactly what the difference is between him and Bo Nix. It's not skill. It's the only things that are different is Drake May is a little more athletic and Bo Nix is a little more experienced.
That's right.
I would say that's the difference. Bo Nix is 24, Drake May is 21, and Bo Nix has played in a lot of big college games.
Wow. Drake May's 21. Holy
I believe so. I could be wrong. He might have turned 22 during the season, but I know as like a draft prospect, he was 21.
That's crazy. Holy shit. Wow.
Yeah, let me look
22.
He's 22. He's 22 now. So I guess during the draft process, he turned 23 or 22 in August. So
6'4". What a beast.
He was 21 when he got drafted. So, and Bo Nix might be 25 now that I'm thinking about it. No, still 24.
Yeah, I think he is 25.
No, he's 24. He turns 25 in February. So basically the same age difference I was talking about. They're a few months off, but
yeah.
Not
he
even
played for
really.
a while at Oregon. Long time.
Yeah, and Auburn before that.
Long college career.
Very long college career. So he's a little more experienced, a little more like savvy, and then I think Drake May's a little more athletic. He can move around a little better, has a little bit of a better arm, and that's where I distinguish them two. But as for this game,
I just realized I forgot about that. Rams Patriots. That's funny.
Yeah, that was a while ago with Jared Goff, 13-3, I believe. Yeah, 13-3. Yeah, that was a good game. Yeah, I meant that sarcastically, if you couldn't tell.
Yeah. So I'll take the Rams on the road here with the points. I guess -4.5. I'm not going to take the Patriots.
Yeah, no, I think the Patriots just kind of, did work against the Bears. Maybe had a little emotional lift. Like I was saying before, coming off a big win, I like to bet on the team that's playing the team coming off a big win most times.
Yeah, for sure. And Rams are coming off a tough loss, too, on national television.
Exactly, yeah. So that goes right into my logic of,
It's like a perfect storm. Yeah, it's perfect. Raiders at Dolphins. I love the Dolphins. I love them with all the points. I don't care. I think they're going to win by 100.
I don't care about this game.
That's I don't care about this game either, but I got Dolphins by 100 is what I want to say.
I'm just like, if there was, one game not to watch this weekend, I think this would be it.
It will be Dolphins by 100.
Yeah, you think so?
Absolutely.
And I guess the last take would be like, Tua, fucking don't try to tackle anyone if you throw an interception. I know.
Just get off the field. He's such an idiot, dude. He's such an airhead. He has this airy quality to him. He's such an idiot, dude.
Even if you're, I feel like even fans of the Rams were probably like, Tua, what are you doing? Like, you know, like,
yeah, they're like, dude.
Like, I feel like everyone was just like, what are you doing? Like, anything but this. Like, just go.
No one wants to watch a DeMar Hamlin situation on a fucking football field, dude. No one wants to watch you do like this on a fucking football field because you just got clocked in the head.
I guarantee you, there's not a single coach in the Dolphins who would be like in film, like, why didn't you try to make the tackle after that interception? You know, like,
get in there, Tua. What are you doing?
They'd probably say the opposite. They'd probably say, "What the fuck are you doing trying to tackle him? Just let him score a touchdown."
In the QB meeting, they were like, "Tua, we're not doing this anymore. Let's not do this."
Yeah, please, anything but that. But it wasn't even like he just tried to tackle him. He like fucking threw his helmet right at the guy's knee, like perfect concussion.
The whole form and everything was like,
yeah, his face mask was staring straight at the ground.
Yeah, idiot.
Terrible. Tua, please just take care of yourself, bro.
Yeah, give the ball to Devon A-Chain. That should be the strategy. Get that guy the ball. That guy is the best player on the team. Get him the ball. Get him and Tyreek Hill the ball as much as possible. That's it.
I know I said I didn't care about this game, but real quick before we wrap it up, I will say that like McDaniels, in my eyes, has taken a step down as a coach. I think we saw it, especially when Tua was out. But like you're saying, why not just like rely on quicks to these super fast guys? Try to have them break some tackles, extend the running game. Quick passes, run the ball. Like you have to change your offense when Tua gets hurt. Like you can't rely on the backup quarterbacks that they have.
He's tried. The teams are playing like so up in their mouth. Like these guys are. First of all, Waddle's been out. I think even Mostert was out for most of this time. He's just recently been back. A Chain has been in and out. So yeah, I agree. I think there's not a lot of continuity within the entire offense when Tua's out, especially because of the ball tricks and all the extra fluffy shit that Tua brings to that offense, that wrinkle shit that is like, it feels like that's such a big part of that offense.
You know what? Just like I had like an Eureka moment in my head. Eureka, whatever the fuck that word is.
Yeah.
I think I combined aha and Eureka at the same time. But I had a light bulb moment in my head, and it was that Tua's a lefty. So you have to flip the whole fucking offense.
The whole thing is flipped on its head.
Yeah. So if you have a lefty quarterback as a starter, you should probably try to find the next best fucking lefty in the world to be the backup, and it probably will make the transition a little more seamless than flipping the whole offense. Even like,
because if you have a quarterback that's a lefty and everyone behind him is a righty, what is the playbook? Like, how does that even? The right tackle is your left tackle.
Yeah, even personnel-wise, I was just to say you signed a great right tackle to be the blindside, Armstead. And now your left tackle is supposed to be the dominant run blocking guy.
He's off to Jackson, wherever the fuck his name, Jackson, where he's getting blown the fuck up all game, getting killed, and then your backup's getting killed, so you can't even move. They can't even get the ball out when Tua's not the quarterback. So
because I thought so much about with the guys, I'm not saying they're amazing, but like the Joe Flacco's, the Andy Daltons of the world, these good, solid backup quarterbacks, and then they wind up with fucking Skylar Thompson and fucking Hundley off the streets. You know what I mean? And it's like, how do you not, as a team that's made the playoffs,
for a little while, who was solid at some point?
Yeah, I like Mike White, but I'm saying for this season at least, you just made the playoffs the last 2 years. You have a quarterback who's had concussion issues in the past. How do you not have a solidified backup?
Yeah, Tyrod Taylor or Joe Flacco in there or something.
Yeah, something like that. So
for sure.
And those guys are on bad team. Andy Dalton's on the Panthers, one of the worst teams in football, and you have hit why didn't you go make a move for him or something? Even trading
playing with Tyreek Hill and Waddle, he'd get those yards out. He'd be moving.
And not for nothing, a guy like Sam Darnold. I mean, I know he's an outplayed backup this year, but we saw it last year. The 49ers are a contending team. They're like, we want a guy.
Where the fuck do you want to draft Penix? A lefty. You got a backup that's a lefty. You draft your quarterback.
Well, Penix was taken 8th overall, so they didn't have a chance to.
Maybe they go trade up and make a move and, shake mountains. But, geez.
That's, like I said, they just made the playoffs. They probably felt they were close. They don't really want to take a quarterback that high. But, my point being is just I don't know how, but to give them an out, maybe they're because he's a lefty, it doesn't even matter if we have a great backup because the offense is still going to have to flip or whatever, but I don't know.
Tua didn't even look amazing. He should have had an interception in that game at one point. He threw a ball directly to the other team. He's kind of also still trying to come back, and he's still sloppy, and seems like sometimes he sees stars or whatever the fuck you want to call it, and when he's out
there... He definitely sometimes sees stars.
Yeah, not that far. But
he sees
in general,
fucking...
going through the offense, when he's looking around, it feels like it's like in a daze sometimes. Like it just feels like I'm watching like
he sees stars, he sees Tweety birds, he sees fucking a daze, he sees blackness because he's out cold. Yeah, you're not wrong.
Dude, this guy is he's decent quarterback. Actually, I don't even think he's bad
good.
quarterback.
I think he's a good quarterback.
He's good. He can run the offense, but like you said, all the things you have to change for your team for him to be your quarterback is just fucking crazy. I've never been into lefty quarterbacks. Just doesn't work. Anyway, shout out, whatever. Like, shout out. Let me think. Who was a lefty that we can shout out?
Any lefty quarterback? Tim
Michael
Tebow,
Vick.
Jeff George,
Shout out Michael Vick.
Michael Vick.
All right, we'll take the Finns by 100, and then Titans at home against the Vikings. Titans are +6, getting 6 points. I actually think it's a trap game. Aaron Jones coming in hurt. Sam Darnold's been playing like duty. Titans defense is actually solid. I kind of smell this a little. What are you thinking? Smelly?
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously the Vikings offense looked pretty bad last week. Shout out to the kicker they brought in, John Parker Romo, knocking down 4 field goals to, be their offense virtually.
Yeah.
Sam Darnold, I think there's obvious, validity to the take of Sam Darnold is kind of fading and, looking more like Sam Darnold, or is he reverting? Has he really gotten better? Is this new offense? But I do think
fatigue.
It might be an overreaction. It might be an overreaction, I think, to just one shitty game. I mean, we just saw Jared Goff throw 5 interceptions. They just happened to win. No one's saying Jared Goff is, shitty now. Like, Sam Darnold threw 3 interceptions, and they still managed to win the game. Obviously.
Well, no one's saying Sam Darnold shitty either for the record, but I think we're going down that, like you said, that shitty path right now with Sam Darnold.
Well, maybe not you, but there's definitely people being like, oh, I even said it earlier, like, I think the 49ers are more of a threat to the Lions than the Vikings, and that one of the reasons why is because of Sam Darnold. Like, I'm not saying he sucks, but like, I think that it's a valid reaction to be like, man, is he starting to slip? But at the same time, it could have
won also 21-20, John. The week before, he had 2 interceptions, and then in the first quarter, he had the fumble that Kenny Moore ran back for a touchdown. So,
but inversely, in the loss against the Lions, what we both agree is the best team in the conference, he actually had a great game, and they lost like by 3. It was like 32-31 or 32-30. Like, they put up points and lost. Like, so it's like, yeah, you could have a bad game and win, and have a good game and lose. All my point being is that the Vikings are really good if they could have Sam Darnold turn the ball over 3 times in the red zone and still win by 5 points in the NFL,
Yeah, I guess that's fair. Their team as a whole is very good. Their defense is very good, keeps them in it. I don't think the Titans' offense is threatening enough to actually give a shit about maybe Sam Darnold's bad play in this game, but I do like the points, is what I would say for this game for Titans. So Titans being +6, I'll take them with the points.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big spread, especially for a home team.
Mm-hmm.
Vikings, like we said, Sam Darnold at least played as bad as he possibly could have, almost, and then they still won the game by 5 points,
Last 2 weeks, so. He's had 3 turnovers at least in both, and he's won both games. So, yeah, crazy. I don't know.
And like I said, they won by like a clean 5, too. It wasn't like a 1-point win. So if he plays decent, they should win by 6 or more, if he plays decent. But that's a big if, I guess, at this point. And then the last game of the week that we'll wrap up real quick, Thursday Night Football, Commanders-Eagles. I guess I'll set the slate by saying this. Does the winner of this game win the division? Is it over after this?
We have one other game, the Packers-Bears. We didn't do.
Oh, shoot. Packers-Bears.
I'm going to skip the Jaguars-Lions. There's no reason to talk about that. Packers-Bears. And by the way, Trevor Lawrence is out this week. It's going to be a murder one, like murder.
Yeah, he was out last week, too. Mac Jones was in the game.
Yeah, take the Lions with the points, -14 there. That's fine.
That's a crazy line, but yeah, probably right.
Packers at Bears. I take the Packers here all day. I think the pass rush will get there. Rashawn Gary. I just think their team is loaded on defense, and I feel like the Bears' offensive line is still the worst in the league. There's a lot of turmoil. They just fired the offensive coordinator. Whole thing's fucked up. So, Bears.
Yeah, I mean, we just talked about it.
We're 5 team in the league by far.
Oh yeah, we just talked about how they don't fire coaches. Like, why are they firing Waldron and not Eberflus? Got to get Eberflus out of there. And I guess
they hired Waldron. It's just like to save his ass for the year. Like, what the fuck?
They fired their offense coordinator in the middle of the season last year too, I think, Luke Getsy.
Yeah, Lugetzi. Yeah.
And then Luke Getsy got fired again this year
Yeah.
from the Raiders.
He'll never get
It's
a job
like-
again. I think that
It's
was
crazy. I mean, just like the Bears as an organization, how they hire their coaches obviously needs some, and it's not quite Jerry Jones. They hired a GM, Ryan Poles, but the McCaskies have been there forever with the same
Yep.
philosophies that have been holding them back. The Bears, the Jets, the Cowboys are all kind of in this holding pattern of bad ownership holding them back. And again, I'm ripping Jerry Jones right now. I just doesn't take away from the 90s when he built a dynasty and took the team over and won, 3 Super Bowls in the first 7 years as an owner. But right now, what he's been doing the past decade has been dreadful. Like I said, it's fan hell. It's just good enough to make the playoffs, but not good enough to make a run, which sucks.
the worst. Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, Bears are a mess. Packers.
Yeah, the fact that
Packers
this is
should
only
win easily.
-5.5. This is just like they're just like giving out free money right now.
Well, division rival. Bears are home. There's always
Jordan loves
function in the
sloppy
NFL.
sometimes. You never
And
know.
again, what I was saying again, no one's ever really as bad as they look, and no one's ever
Yeah,
really
Bears
as good
could
as
come
they
out
look.
and just intercept Jordan Love 3 times because he loves to throw interceptions because he's the Packers quarterback, and it seems like he's taking on the onus of Brett Favre, not Aaron Rodgers, in terms of taking care of the football. So, he just chucks the ball around and kind of wants that 350-yard, 4-touchdown, 3-interception game and kind of win it by 7. That's Jordan Love way. Okay. But
Yeah, he's like a guy. He'll miss a lot of time and still be among the league leaders in touchdowns and interceptions.
for sure.
He's one of those
Yards
guys.
and attempts and all of it. Yeah, he's just be slinging
Yeah.
it. So, but definitely Packers there. And then moving on, Commanders at Eagles, as you just gestured at. Maybe the game of the week, possibly on Thursday Night Football. Definitely could argue that.
Besides Ravens, Steelers, probably.
Yeah, and Bills, Chiefs.
Yeah, true.
those 3 games. Yeah, Eagles,
But yeah.
Commanders. I think Lincoln Financial is probably what puts me over to take the Eagles here, just being at home. But again, it just feels like they're a different team when they're home. But the other side of that is that I kind of like Brian Robinson, that hasn't played in 2 weeks, coming in with fresh legs and running all over this fucking Philly front. I don't know why. Something in my body likes that too. And Jaden Daniels coming in as a baller and just wanting to set the tone and put his imprint on this fucking season right now and just do something that no one's ever really done, which is just like had this type of rookie season. It's getting to the point where it's as impressive, if not more impressive, than CJ Stroud's run last year. So, January,
So
if they win this game, it'll be 8-3. It'll be 8-3 in the division lead. It's crazy.
So back to my original question: whoever wins this game, does that wrap up the division, or
No,
too much season left?
too much season. And
I would say if the Eagles,
a skinny guy, could still get hurt, be down for two or three games. Never know.
I would say if the Eagles win, they win the division for sure. If the Commanders win, it's still up in the air. I think that the Eagles, like you said, at home gives them a little bit of a boost. But I also feel like they've been kind of riding high. Again, another team coming off a massive win, due for maybe a bit of a letdown. Commanders coming off a brutal
downs and Sirianni doing some dumb shit. That's what we need, and we need them to get on the hot seat again and go back to exactly to the turmoil that everyone loves to put Sirianni on, that he was just on a week ago, which is, don't like the Eagles.
Again, the Commanders coming off a tough loss, Eagles coming off a big win. Like I said, one of those spots. I think that the Eagles are very good on the line on offense. Their defense is starting to play better. Their secondary is looking a lot better than last year with the additions of Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean through the draft. DeJean, it took a little while. He was injured, I think, in training camp. Picked up the defense. Vic Fangio, a definitely complicated system, but he's starting to look great. I listened to the Philly talk radio out here, living in PA.
Yeah, turnover right this weekend.
I can't remember, but I know he's been playing very, very well, like very highly ranked on Pro Football Focus. And then the other rookie, Quinyon Mitchell, has been virtually a shutdown corner. I mean, he's locking dudes up. He's very, very – he's going to be a player in this league for a long time.
Yeah.
And if he was able to make some bigger plays and some splashier, maybe interceptions, he'd be right up there for Defensive Rookie of the Year. He is a bona fide number one corner in the league already, in my opinion. And then Reed Blankenship is starting to make some more plays too. Not the most athletically gifted guy, but one of those guys who's super cerebral. Picture Jim Leonard.
CJ GJ as well.
CJ, I think, is one of the more liable players back there.
Even like a vocal leader, just like if he's their worst player, like that defense is.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not the biggest CJ guy, to be honest. We talk about the glowing organization like the Lions, and they had him for 1 year and let him walk right out the door. Like I think attitude-wise, I don't love him. He's very much a Twitter guy, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
He's out there almost like Aaron Rodgers, not quite as popular,
and the beef up instead of letting the beef come to him. He kind of he likes cooking it up a little bit.
Yeah, finger, not even point fingers at teammates, but more like blame shit for being whatever. We don't have to dissect CJ, but
victimhood shit. Yeah, I know. Yeah,
but Blankenship, has played a lot better. Someone who I thought was maybe too athletically limited to be like a good player, but like I said, picture Jim Leonard on the Ravens back in the day. He's like one of those guys who's always going to be in the right spot. A deflection bounces up, he's going to be there to catch it. Somebody makes a catch on the sideline, he's going to get them out of bounds, not give them the extra yards.
Yeah.
And I like the nickname they got for them in the radio of DeJean and Blankenship. They call them bread and butter because they're both white guys.
That's funny. Not bad.
I like it. I like it.
That's cool. I didn't.
But I think that
we're both white.
I think the Eagles. Yeah, they're both white. Guys.
Blankenship was white. Is more what I was saying. Not the Iowa boy.
Reed Blankenship? You thought that was a black guy?
I don't know.
No, that is a crazy name for a black dude. Reed Blankenship?
Yeah, it could be a black guy, sure.
Nah, I never saw a black guy with the first name Reed.
Reed?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it's not Reid. Reid is certified white guy. Reed could be a black guy. Like Jaden.
Nah, Reed. Only if it was short for that's a last name. That's a last name.
Doesn't matter. A name that's associated to a black person that is the
same.
No,
I said a first name Reed. What do you mean? You can't just say a guy with a black name Reed. Yeah, Ed Reed. There's other.
See?
What are you talking about?
There we go.
I said first name specifically. What are you talking about? That would be like if I was like, oh yeah, white guys could be named Jamal. I was like, that'd be like comparing like a Charles Finley to Jamal Charles and being like, yeah, it's the same thing.
They keep giving me names that are the last name.
Yeah, because there are no black people with the first name Reed.
I don't like your attitude. I think I'll find one. Reed Shepard. Bang.
Reed Shepard?
Nope,
who
that
the
was
fuck
a white
is
guy.
that? Yeah, it's not even a word. Yep, white guy. Thank you for prove my point.
Not even an athlete either. Just literally a white person. It's like such a ridiculous random website. It wasn't even what I thought it was.
Yeah. So
Reed Shepard,
you did a whole Google search. Oh, I know Reed Shepard. He played basketball at Kentucky.
White guy.
Yeah.
See, he is a guy. That wasn't crazy.
Yeah, but Reed.
He's not black.
Yeah.
He was a sports guy. He's not black.
You were like, bang.
Yeah, I thought I had one, and then I looked at his face. He was white as a driven snow. It wasn't one.
That's worse than Ed Reed.
I'm Blankenship. Blankenship is maybe mixed.
Nah, I didn't say Blankenship because there's a possibility,
How you can't be the name Blankenship and be a safety. Like that shit's soft. Your name's Blanket?
First off, I thought Blankenship was just like a generic Madden name when you went into the future in franchise mode and you had draft classes. That's the only time I ever saw Blankenship. When I saw it in real life, I was shocked.
Yeah, it's a crazy name. Never heard of it. Blankenship. I got the Eagles at home. I'll just take the Eagles just because of the weight of being in Lincoln Financial. I feel like it's a pain in the ass to play in that stadium, and Jaden's never really done that. On a Thursday night game, too, a lot will be on the line. Very pressurized situation. Hurts has kind of been there. They'll lean on Saquon. It's about the fronts, obviously.
I feel like we kind of glossed over on you not knowing Reed Blankenship was white, not just by the name, but you're also a Giants fan. They play the Eagles twice a year. He's been a contributor for
I always just assume that he's light skinned.
A season and a half.
It's not about me not knowing that he's white. It's more about Cooper DeJean. Obviously, he came from Iowa. I knew he was white, but Reed Blankenship, I don't know why. I never really looked in at his skin color. I just thought he was maybe light skinned.
Well, there's plenty of black players that come from Iowa too. It's not like you only.
No, I know, but I'm saying I knew who DeJean was because he's a more recent player. I knew what school he came from. I don't even know where Reed Blankenship is from. Is what I'm saying. I don't even know what school he went to. I don't know what round he was picked. Like, he's probably a very late draft pick. He's not a guy that's like Cooper DeJean was a main staple on the Iowa team.
I'll give you the draft pick. I think Reed Blankenship was undrafted, but
yeah,
I'm just saying
like, that's what I mean. Like, it's not like I wouldn't notice if you asked me to notice, but like I'm not noticing, so I would just assume in my head maybe that he was light skinned. Like I wouldn't assume that he was. But then you said the nickname, the bread and butter, and there we go. So they have 2 white corners on.
Well, he's a safety. He's a safety,
White
but
D-back.
yeah, 2 white D-backs, bread and butter. But yeah, Reed Blankenship. He's like, I just brought him a picture of him, dude. He is like the whitest white guy too. Like there, you can't even like the confusing him for light skin. Yeah, just go to his Wikipedia page real quick.
I'm going right now.
Because I was like, does he look light skinned? Because you said light skin, and I was like, I don't think he looks light skinned.
No, he definitely doesn't. No, this guy looks like you're literally a surfer or something.
He looks like he played lacrosse at Maryland.
Absolutely. He looks like he went to Duke. That's absolutely true. For sure.
Speaking of Duke, real quick aside before we get into the hot score, and I know we're getting late. Dude, yeah, they did lose to Kentucky, right?
Yeah.
Kyle Singler, my friend Cruz sent me today.
Oh, I saw this.
Bro, was that on one of the most brutal videos you ever saw, like in your life, dude?
Bro, he looks.
Oh, he's on meth
or
crack.
Yeah,
dude.
He's a nice player. He was a nice player.
Just walking in the NBA, now he looks like a crackhead on the street. Like
it's embarrassing for the NBA brand when the guys like that show out, like Delonte West, these types of guys.
I was just about to say that was the next name coming out of my mouth. He's the new Delonte West. I mean, I guess he still has a house. He's putting these videos in looks like a decent looking house, but he's definitely on a lot of drugs, and he's gonna die if he keeps doing whatever he's doing.
Mess. I caught that. Yeah.
Crazy. Shout out to him. I hope he gets help. I saw a lot of like NBA players writing on the post. Hopefully he reaches out. Kevin Love seemed to be, another. I know they're both Oregon guys, like growing up. So hopefully, I don't know. Hopefully he gets some help because he needs it. It's scary.
Yeah,
that stuff sucks.
It's
not the tone of our podcast, but I just wanted to.
No, yeah, it's good shout. I didn't even think of it. Are you? By the way, are you going with the Commanders or the Eagles? What is it? What are you doing?
I don't know what the spread is, but I think the Eagles will win. I think the Commanders are good, but they're like next year will be their year. I think they're just like they need like one more year to build up this roster, get some more continuity. Obviously, new coach, a lot of turmoil from the last regime. A lot of new players, a lot of former Cowboys. We talk about it every week. There's another one making a play. Yeah, Bobby Wagner, Austin Eckler. They got a lot of vet juice, but just sprinkling vets, sprinkling some role players, and obviously bringing in some young guys and keeping some guys from the old regime. They made the right roster moves, but it just needs a little more time to play out.
For sure.
And Jaden Daniels needs to get a little bit better. He wasn't as great as he's been all season. Last week he wasn't great. He missed a couple. Towards the end of the game, maybe they could have won it for him.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. All right, cool. So, what do you want to do? Do you want to go through the Hotz corner here? You want to just call it, or
no? I mean, it's early. We could rip the Hotz corner.
Let's do it. Let's do a little Hotz corner. We'll do it quickly. We don't have to go through everything too succinctly. Maybe we'll just do 5 questions there.
All right. No, let's just fucking do it. Fuck it. It's early.
All right. Fuck it. Messi or Ronaldo?
We're usually just getting started right now. Messi.
Which activity do you think is a sport? Which sport do you think is actually an activity?
Pass.
Top 4 jerseys in the NFL based on look.
I like the Steelers. I'm going to go non-Cowboys, just take bias out of it. I'll go Steelers, Raiders, Falcons, and the throwback Houston Oilers.
Who are your favorite 3 role players in the NBA?
All time or currently?
Current.
I like Josh Hart a lot. Josh Hart, Austin Reeves.
Good one.
And try to think of a good. Derek White.
Could have picked another Reed, Nas Reed. Who is your sleeper team this season in the NFL to win the Super Bowl? Sleeper.
My sleeper Super Bowl team. I brought up the 49ers a lot, so I'll try to go away from that. Bleeper Super Bowl team.
We could just go on a run and they are good enough.
I think I'll go with the Steelers.
I like it. Would you rather crash in a Formula One race car straightaway on a bank turn, or take on John Jones for 3 minutes in an octagon?
I'll do John Jones. Let
me
get a few off.
All right.
Let me get a few off on you. All right.
Okay,
what is the worst thing to happen in high school? Be rejected by your crush after an elaborate prom proposal, or have an embarrassing rumor spread about you?
Oh, the embarrassing rumor. Rumors never die.
If you could ask 2 questions to a quarterback prospect in an NFL combine interview, one football related and one non-football, what are you asking?
So football related, I would say, what's the difference between a great team and the best team? And the other question I would ask in regards from a personal perspective would be, tell me about a time in your life where you had no options, you had no outs. What did you do?
All right. What is the most impactful assassination of all time?
There's that one, the Ferdinand guy, I think. I forget what his name is, that set off World War II.
Franz Ferdinand?
Franz Ferdinand, I think is his name.
That was World War One.
World War One. Excuse me. I think that's the one. I think that's the answer.
Who is the best white American basketball player since 2000?
Since 2000? White American basketball player since 2000.
While you think, Dilo said the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria on June 28, 1914. Dilo, for bonus points, honor system, you're not going to look it up. Who assassinated him? Because I have this in my bag.
Who assassinated him? So that was a good one that I shouted then.
Oh, the best one, the right answer.
Let's go.
You answer the white American basketball player.
I don't know where that came from in the logs, but that came... No idea. All right, I like the honor.
His name is Gabriel Princip.
Gavio, can you say it again? Type it into the chat.
Gabriel Princip.
Gavio Princip.
No, Gaviel, like with an L. But I don't know how. I'm gonna spell it wrong.
I googled the first part.
Yeah, I don't know. Joining the chat's giving me a hard time right now. I'm not joining it.
You're good. He said he googled the first part, the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria. It was written out perfectly, Deal. I could tell you it was a copy paste. It's okay.
I had that in my bag for sure.
You could tell. Yeah, for sure.
But white basketball player, and then we can recap our answers.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm biased. I'll go with my boy, Jason Williams.
All right, that's a fun one. All right, you go first.
I have other hot corner questions for you that are funny.
All right, go ahead.
I got one more. I got one more. Livy Dunn, Sydney Sweeney, Margot Robbie, Scarlett Johansson. Rank them.
Oof. Scarlett Johansson 1.
Wow.
But this is prime. I'm going prime. I'm not going like Scarlett Johansson now versus 22-year-old Livy Dunn. Like that's
You're good.
crazy.
You're good.
Scarlett Johansson 1. Sydney Sweeney 2.
Over Margot. Oh my God.
Margot Robbie 3. And then Livy Dunn 4.
Okay. All right, and we can go through them now. So where do you want to start?
I mean, we'll just start there. I guess Scarlett Johansson's like my 1-1 all time. Like Scarlett Johansson in the movie about like cheating on the SATs. I think it's called The Perfect Score.
Yeah,
like
that
that's
movie.
like
and also
peak.
She's not that into you. She's so hot and everything, dude.
Yes. Scarlett Johansson's lips might be like my 1-1 feature on a female in the history of time.
Face, the facial profile is just absolutely
Yeah.
Crazy.
No, that one's easy.
I love
and then
Margot Robbie though. Margot Robbie's personality is just A1. I think.
And then Sydney Sweeney.
Sydney
Sweeney, call me a
dark horse.
Call me a misogynist, which I'm really not. Call me misogynist, but something about big naturals. I can't quit him.
Sydney Sweeney is like your classic Nashville girl, essentially, kind of look, almost, in a sense. Like, she's just classic.
she's
very classic,
American,
actually.
She's top heavy, we'll call it.
Livy Dunn's a little young, kind of plays a little too much into the college crowd. So
yeah, I went Margot. I think Margot's gorgeous, but like I like those other two more. I think people like Margot more than I like Margot. Her face, I don't know.
A little different. It's definitely a little different. It's a very Presley, whatever her name was back in the day, or the girl from Not Another Teen movie.
Lisa Marie Presley.
Not Lisa Marie Presley. Who was the girl? From
Jamie Presley.
Jamie Presley, was that her name?
I don't know. I'm just naming women named Presley.
That sounds like a familiar name, but I think that might be her name, and she kind of has that face, or the face of the girl from the Shooter movie with Mark Wahlberg. That girl.
I know that I haven't seen that movie in a while, but
yeah. Anyway,
moving on to Livy Dunn, like you said, she's a little young. Like, obviously,
girl.
A billion levels out of my league. I'm not trying to like that, but I just saw her on game day, like last weekend in LSU or whatever, Baton Rouge.
With Paul, for sure.
Yeah, with Paul Skeens there, and like just like live on camera, then like compared to these other women that we're talking about, she's a little bit like that picture in my head versus like those other.
The name feels like it's almost hotter than she is. Livy Dunn. It just feels
great,
like
fantastic name.
Yeah, might be a good take. That might be a electric take right there. That the name surmounts the looks there. Maybe too much.
No, I mean it's an addition. It doesn't surpass. It's a great name, but if you were named
what you look like, though, it's true.
Yeah, but also like a name. How to say this? Like if Livy Dunn was a name of a woman who was just standard run of the mill 5 out of 10. You wouldn't be like, oh man, that's like a hot name. Like the name is hot because of Livy Dunn is hot. It just helps that it's like a good name.
I guess. Okay, I'm buying what you're selling. Okay.
Like your image of Livy Dunn's being hot is because of Livy Dunn being hot.
Because her name is part of the package. Yes. Yeah. All right. Would you rather crash in a Formula One race car straightaway or take on John Jones for 3 minutes in an octagon?
I mean, it depends on basically if you're like weighing pain versus like dying. Like it's gotta be more painful to have John Jones beat you up or whatever, but like he's a human being, he probably wouldn't kill you. Like he doesn't want that on his conscience. Like I'm just a regular dude. He's a pro fighter. Like he might beat the shit out of me. Let's say I was talking shit. Even if I talked the craziest shit, I don't think he'd actually like kill me. Like if you crash a Formula One car, there's a chance you
might die. Sure. Even though it's prepared for you to crash, you might die.
Yeah, people die on Formula One, Formula 2 all the time.
Yeah, but John Jones might give you problems that you'll have the rest of your life.
Yeah, you have the rest of your life to deal with those problems.
Fair. All right, that's fair. Yeah, 50% of something is better than 100% of nothing. That's a fact.
Yeah, I don't want to die.
Who was your sleeper team this season in the NFL to win the Super Bowl? You said the Steelers.
I really want to say the 49ers again, but I feel like it's almost not.
Sleeper. They're 5-4. They're not like on anybody's big radar. Lions, I think, are ahead of them by a long shot. I think Philly's ahead of them also. So I think that's a good take too. I think the Niners are good.
Bengals crossed my mind. I can't quit the Bengals.
I don't know if the Bengals will get there. If they get to the show and they get into the playoffs, maybe. Their offensive line's too weak though. They can't hold up in the playoffs against some of these defensive fronts. There's just no way. Ngakwe, any of these teams that they see, they would get fucked up.
They've been the biggest thorn in the Chiefs' side in recent memory in terms of stopping them from
getting to the Super Bowl. There's no question that they can hang at the table. Joe can sit at the table with Lamar and Patrick and hang out. But be clear, there is going to be a time where he has to stand up and leave that table because his team is not good enough. He can hang.
Any other teams you want to shout out before we move on?
I like Niners. I like Steelers. Those two are good. Teams that would maybe
like Bengals not good.
No, Bengals are good. I don't know if they run. I don't think they're good enough in the trenches. They rushed the passer well. Hendrickson was leading the league in sacks and pressures for a little while. I don't like their back end a ton. Wow, Knicks lost a heartbreaker tonight. It looks like holy shit. I think the chat's going off about it too right now. I don't even want to get roped into that. I'm looking at the standings right now. New England Jets, Miami, Denver, Chargers. Chargers are a good one. I like the Chargers. That'd be my dark horse team. You were talking about them and a little bit before. Their defense is like, I think they have number one takeaway rate right now in terms of like forcing turnovers. defense is good. Like you said, the Harbaugh effect, they just play sound football. They got talent. They're not just like a brand of football with a bunch of guys that you've never heard of. They also have a brand of football with a bunch of guys you have heard of. So they're missing, like I said, a pass catcher, someone that can really catch in the traffic when they're going to need it. Ladd's going to have to step up and be that guy possibly. And I don't know. He's a rookie. So that'll hurt them in the playoffs at some point. Someone getting open for Herbert. But, yeah, I think they could be a dark horse too.
Sounds good. We talked a lot of NFL tonight. We keep it moving.
Yeah. Who are your favorite 3 role players in the NBA? So you said Josh Hart. He had a big shot against Philly the other day in the Cup, so it's a good shout.
Yeah, love Josh Hart. Love his energy as a role player. Like, you're looking for intangibles as much as you are skills. Guys who can accept the role, guys who take to the role, and guys who kind of get better every year. Like I said, the other guy I brought up was Austin Reeves, another guy who fits that bill of gets better every year.
Yep.
Seems to know his role, doesn't take too many shots, doesn't try to force himself into the game, and just is kind of an efficient scorer and slowly getting better, not only on the offensive side, but on the defensive side as well.
For sure.
And then
I like Caruso. Or excuse me, I don't know why I said Caruso. Reeves, excuse me.
Yeah, because they're both white. We've been on
both
a heavy white guy podcast today.
Yeah, hell yeah.
And then I'm trying to think of the last one I said. Shout out to the whites. Jesus, we're going to take him down. I'm trying to think of the last.
Did I ask you this other question? I don't know if I asked you this one. Would you rather date a girl that's 6'4" or 4'6"? Did I ask you that one?
No, but I'd date a 4'6" girl.
Over the 6'4"?
I'm trying to think of my last. Yeah, who cares about my third role player?
I was trying to think of the third role player too. Who'd you say?
Goodness gracious! Because afterwards you were like, you could have said Nas Reed, and then my head went to Nas Reed, and I'm like, he doesn't spell Reed like the way we were talking about Reed earlier. Yeah, I got all fucked up. He spells it like Justin Reed. The AD started going crazy.
That's true.
Yeah. Who was the third role player? Fuck, this is gonna kill me. Oh, Derek White.
Perfect. Kyle Singler, role player.
Yeah, and Kyle Singler's meth fucking addiction.
Yeah.
Another shout out to the whites.
Shout out to the whites. Another one.
The athletic whites, we should say. We should quantify it.
Dude.
Shout out to the athletic whites. If you suck at ball and you're white, nobody cares.
Yeah, then you're just a pure white.
All right. What is the worst thing to happen in high school? To be rejected by your crush after an elaborate prom proposal or have an embarrassing rumor spread about you. I think I'd agree with you, because if you have an embarrassing rumor, you're probably not going to get anyone to say yes to prom, things like that. But in today's modern age of where like everything gets filmed and shit like that, and you like say like you go like live and do like this whole big fucking, you like fucking decorate their car or some shit, and you pop out from behind prom, and then fucking they're like, nah, son.
Fuck you, bro.
Yeah. Oh, actually, I'm already going with my boyfriend from the other crosstown rival school.
I hate to shout this out, but you boys, you know what's coming right now.
Yeah.
The Clarkstown South stuff and the stuff about our old friend Tommy. I'm not going to say it. Just
I was going to say you shouldn't even said his name.
But I'm just saying, I'm not going to say the nickname is what I won't say. I'll say his name. Yeah. I won't say the nickname because that's rude. But
that was beyond
carried with you for 30 years, 20 years, 15 years.
That was beyond like a normal high school. That like became like a chain letter on like AOL Instant Messenger. It was like, this blank will come get you if you don't fucking wipe or something like that. You got to share this to your next 10 friends, fucking, or else you'll, you know what I mean?
No, that's horrible. That's
bullying. That was bad. That's bad.
Bullying. Whoever did that deal, if you were part of that shit, it's called bullying.
I was there when the rumor originated, actually. It was at the lunch table at Felix Festa.
Oh,
for
wow.
breakfast.
Is that breakfast? Yeah.
Yeah,
I used to go to those breakfasts. That's where I originally met Tommy and some of you guys.
Yeah. I wasn't like always in the breakfast crew either. I just happened to be there for the
day either. I would go and I was always accepted, I guess. I always sat there with Joey. And
it was
Joey
like if my mom had to go to work. If my mom had to go to work early one day and drop me off, something like that. It was never like I go, but that day I was there and I saw it all happen live.
That's the breakfast.
Yeah, wow.
Crazy.
I almost want to talk about it, but I'm not gonna. It is a very funny story, though.
I think we just did talk about it. That's good.
We talked about it enough.
About the question.
Yeah, like maybe if we get like more fans and like there's a lore, maybe we'll like reveal it at like 10,000 subscribers or something like that.
Yeah. All that matters is that I beat Javi this weekend. That's it. Nothing else. That's what D'Lo just said.
I hope Javi wins. Fuck you.
Yeah, fuck D'Lo.
And then the next one is, if you could ask 2 questions to a quarterback prospect in an NFL Combine interview, one football related and one non-football, what would you ask? You were like...
So I said for the football one, like, what's the difference between a great team and the best team? That was my question. So basically I wanted to hear him talk about, like, the differences between, you know, like what he thinks the separator is. When everyone's good, you have talent, the whole team is good, the scheme is good, everything is good. We all hire great players. We're all first-round picks. Baltimore, Kansas City, for example, 2 teams. What is the difference? What is the difference between that team and that team? Every single year, it seems that team wins the Super Bowl and that team never goes to the Super Bowl. What is the difference? What's happening there, in your opinion? And just get them talking and hear what they think about the ins and outs of the nitty-gritty and the inches of the game, and, you know, the interesting shit about football, about from a different perspective, beyond like scheme. I'm not going to do some fucking Brian Dable, Z White, go, banana, fucking whatever.
Yeah, no, I was hoping you wouldn't be like, go draw this on the blackboard. That's dumb.
Yeah.
I was thinking like one would be like, what's the best advice you've ever gotten? Like for the non-football one, like, and
it's always
like,
a great one. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that one. And then like for the football one, it would probably be like, what defines a great teammate or something like that. Like I wouldn't even really be like, the film work is already done. Like I know what you could do on the football field, kind of thing. Like
that's why I want to talk about more nuanced shit about winning and the idea of a culture of winning and the differences and like what those fine things are that are happening within a game. Those little errors that these teams don't make and these teams do make that are the difference, essentially.
All right, we'll keep it moving. What is the most impactful assassination of all time? Yeah, that's the right answer. I mean, obviously, all the dominoes fell after that because of allies, you know, at that time led to the World War I. Like, everyone kind of had to jump in after Austria declared war. And also, that's like Hitler was a soldier in World War I, that Germany law. Like, you know, like you could very much make an argument without World War I, there's no World War II. Well,
100%.
Literally, you can make that argument because it wouldn't be called World War II if World War I didn't happen. But
beyond,
you know what I mean?
Beyond the name, absolutely, and the lineage of the naming, yes, absolutely. The point that they're named beyond back to back the same way is because, and it's not like categorized like a 6-day war and then the Iraqi war, 2 separate wars that are named 2 different things. It's like, no, they are completely tied together. You're 100% correct. Yeah.
And World War I obviously wasn't called World War I until World War II happened. It was like the Great War. It was the Great War. What I mean? Yeah. So I think that set into motion like Germany having to pay off all that money from the fines from the war, the First World War, and then, like I said, Hitler being a soldier. Yep. You know, just not to get too in the weeds of history, but yeah, I mean, I was thinking you might go with like JFK, Lincoln, something American, but it is the right answer. You know, that I think I don't feel like any dominoes
came from the JFK thing. Like, I don't feel like anything. Like, if George Bush had gotten assassinated when that shoe got thrown at him in that press conference, instead of it being a shoe, if someone actually stood up and blew his fucking head off right there, that would have been the most impactful assassination in human history. The George Bush, that would have set off, I'm sure, a huge chain of events into the Middle East and whatever the fuck would have happened. Do you remember that when that guy stood up and threw that shoe in the press thing at George Bush?
It's just like, but I don't think that guy was trying to kill him with a shoe.
No, I'm just saying, like, it's just like, if that was the scene of that would have been the one. Because I think about things where people were threatened. I don't even think the Donald Trump one would have been as impactful. Maybe the Trump one maybe would have been.
I think the JFK one is crazy just because it was on video.
Yeah.
Like, and there's like a video.
The video looks like a movie.
In the video, his head gets fucking blown off. Like, you know, it was like there's no video of There's no video of Lincoln or Archduke Franz Ferdinand. Like, that's the only like big time assassination, at least in my world. I'm sure I'm missing shit that's happened like geopolitically that I don't know about.
There's
obviously,
probably like a South American leaders. I think there's one about that. I think guy's gotten assassinated, like a big one. Maybe in Brazil or Argentina. I can't. And
I also don't count like an insurrection as like an assassination, if you will, like you know, like Fidel Castro. You know, like stuff like who was Saddam Hussein? Like, you know, like I think of like one guy sniping someone out, like, you know, like
a
one guy killing.
Exactly. JFK style, yeah, for sure.
It is crazy that that video is crazy. All right.
Yeah.
And then is that all the ones I have? Oh, who's the best white American basketball player?
More whites.
Since
Shout out to the
2000.
whites.
Yeah, shout out to the Athletic Whites.
Shout out to the Athletic Whites. Jason Williams, White Chocolate. That was my boy.
Athletic Whites could be like a rap group.
Yeah.
If
Like
they're all white.
it could be a rap group, or it could be like a gym.
It could be. You'd be like cutting your clientele in whatever. No minorities would go. But
Imagine black guys just showed up. They're like, "Can we join here?" And they're like, "Yeah, of course. Sign right up."
yeah.
You're like,
No,
"So where do you belong?" I belong to Athletic Whites.
Or like the Impractical Jokers, like a improv troupe or something like that. The Athletic
Yeah.
Whites.
Oh, I said,
But,
which activity do you think is a sport? Which sport do you think is actually an activity?
I don't know. I mean, because then it's like I don't know. I don't really want to fucking beef with anybody. Like pickleball, I guess.
Did I ask you
what I
Messi
mean?
or Ronaldo or no?
Yeah, I said Messi.
And then we did top 4 jerseys in the NFL too.
Yeah. So
Did
the top
Atlanta,
4.
Pittsburgh.
But the white basketball player, you said Jason Williams.
Oh, I don't think he's the best, but he's my favorite. The best
That's
is,
clutch.
yeah, I don't know who's the best. Do you have a
It's
name?
Kevin Love.
I was thinking it. I thought
Yeah.
about it. Is that the right name?
I think so. I mean, he had some monster years in Minnesota, won a couple titles.
Yeah. His name went through my head. I was thinking about saying it. I just don't want to sound like an asshole. Like, I feel like that's the only name I got, because
Maybe-
everyone else is European.
The Cavs I guess he only got one title with the
Is Steve
Cavs,
Nash
right?
considered white?
He's not American.
He's not American though.
He's Canadian.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I really didn't have another name. I literally was dumbfounded. I was thinking Kevin Love the whole time. I just didn't want to say it.
I think it's like Kevin Love in a tier of his own almost. Like I said, he was like a 25-12 guy on the Timberwolves for years. Then won
I
a
used to think
championship.
Jason Kidd and Tim Duncan, and then I became an adult and I know better now. Like, it's just like
Well, Jason Kidd is half black and
they're both
Tim
half
Duncan.
black.
Yeah.
They're both light skinned. So yeah, like exactly that's what I mean. Mike Bibby, same thing. So like, yeah, I think that's a good answer. Kevin Love's good. That means Jason Williams kind of plays. Not a terrible answer.
It's know what I think about? Like, this is a little getting outside of baseball, not inside baseball, outside baseball, but
Baseball or basketball?
well, I just mean inside baseball is a phrase, like when you get like too
gotcha.
in the weeds of like what you know, like so. You know, like even with Obama, like his mom is white, but he's known as like black president. Like no one ever like.
My president
like
is black. My Lambo is blue. It's all about Obama. Yeah.
Or everybody's like half black. You never hear anyone say half white unless they're saying like he's half black, half white. It's always like half black first. I just think it's interesting. I don't have a take on it.
Color. It's because the white in theory to people is the plain surface.
Be careful.
It's the original surface in people's eyes. Underneath the black skin is white skin in some idiot people's minds. They don't believe that the original skin is black skin. Anyway,
I don't know what you're talking about. But
going back to
I shouldn't. It's my fault for bringing it up.
We've gone out to the coasts of the world. We're white.
It's actually my fault. I had to get my high thought out of the way.
No, I like it. I was vibing. I think that you're speaking to something for sure. That about like the idea that like I think that people see color. That's the idea. So the color is what's pronounced because the other white piece is the blank slate in their head. So the color is what gets pronounced.
Yeah, I guess like
half black is. So it's like if your face was half blue, it wouldn't never be half white because the base in their head is white. Am I making?
But if someone is Spanish and white, people don't say like half brown; they'll say mixed. Like,
yeah,
and people will say mixed about a half black, half white person too. I guess.
I think a lot of Spanish people though that are half black call themselves black.
Now we're getting real crazy.
Now
we've listened to get quantum.
Conversations.
Yeah. No, that was a good. Yeah, they don't even say mixed when they're half black, half Spanish.
They say I'm black.
Or they say I'm Dominican.
And they all say the N-word, or as we know from New York. As a fact.
All right, that was a good show, guys. Good show, good episode.
All right, good show. Good hot corner. Shout out to the
Steelers have nice jerseys.
Steelers and the Cowboys. Cowboys too. You're not Homer for saying that.
Yeah, no, the Raiders have good jerseys.
I didn't mean it like that. I just mean like as a colloquialism.
I know you're not necessarily wrong. I just don't know if we're allowed to call people out for saying stuff like that.
Anyway, shout out to the Knicks. You guys gotta start playing some defense. Giving up 124 points to the Bulls, you're never gonna beat anybody anymore.
Shout out to the athletic whites of Army. Bryson Daly threw his first interception, but they still got the win.
He's still rushing.
Texas, still undefeated. Yeah, it wasn't his best game, but he's came off injury, so. And the defense playing good. Army's my team this year.
10-0.
10-0. I'm not this weekend, but next weekend's Notre Dame. I'm fucking putting a chunk on that. I'll tell you.
We're gonna go to the game on Saturday. We're going to the Stanford-Louisville game for no reason. Fuck it.
Yeah, it's the
only game of the year that's actually worth even. Yeah, it'll be a blowout, but we're gonna go check it out. Why not? So we haven't been to one game. Stanford's fucking terrible. So.
Yeah, I mean. College football's fucking awesome. That's going to be lit. I'm looking into the Notre Dame Army game. It's the weekend. My birthday's the 20th. I think it's the 23rd, the game. So might have to go check that out.
I'll be home on Monday, the 25th.
I probably will be. I won't be around, I don't think. But it's funny, Monday. So I'm going to go to New York this weekend, see my nephew, my sister, my brother-in-law. Mm-hmm. And they asked me if I want to go to the Knicks game on Monday. And I was like, let me see who they're playing. Because I'm not a Knicks fan. So I was like, if they're playing somebody good, I'll go to the game. Look up who they're playing.
I'm looking right now as we speak. You already know it.
On Monday. Top 2 last team you want to watch in the NBA.
That sucks.
I couldn't find one player on the team that I'd be like, man, I really want to see this guy play live.
That's why
in my life.
Ticket. That's not and it's a Monday night ticket. That's like a.
Yeah, that's not a miss work.
And my favorite player in the NBA, Sadiq Bey, is injured, so it's not even like you get to go see my favorite player. You talk to Rob about Sadiq Bey. That's our boy. He's won us some money. So Sadiq Bey for life, for sure. You can always watch Jordan Poole fuck around.
Yeah, I mean Jordan Poole would be. I could watch him on my TV. Like that's not like a guy I want to see live.
You don't want to see Corey Kispert? Come on.
Nah, I'm good. What do they got? Like Petra? What's his name? The Vucevic or?
They do. Valanciunas.
Valanciunas. Not Vucevic.
Yeah, they have Malcolm Brogdon. This is the worst roster I think I've ever seen in basketball.
The Pistons are there too, but I think
this is bad.
Pistons and Wizards are top. We're like probably the only two teams that be like, yeah, fuck it, I don't want to go to that. Oh. And I'm like, yeah.
Oh, they have a crazy West Coast road trip coming up too. They're going to Phoenix right after your game on the Washington game. You should still go because they should blow them the fuck out. It's still cool to see Towns with Brunson and shit.
Brunson is the only reason why I'd go, to be honest.
I would go. It's always fun to watch the Knicks, especially in Madison Square Garden. I mean, and they should win, so it should be good vibes. It should be like easy money. You could bet on them.
I'll probably just go to work.
I'm jealous. What can I say?
All right. Peace.
That's it for the week. We'll see you guys next week. Be good. Holla.
Army undefeated.